Enes Naini with another video, now with anatomy of the hand in perspective. This video is divided in two chapters, one chapter in a theoretical way and another on a practical way. But first, I would like to remember that this video is a part of a playlist about human figure in perspective, and the links for my Instagram and the Discord server of the channel are available in the video description. In the theoretical part, we will use two books as our reference. The first one by Michael Hampton, Figure Drawing, Design and Invention, and the second one by T.B. Choi, Design Your Own Anime and Manga Character. With the Michael Hampton book, our goal is to know how to deal with a more technical way of drawing, beginning with basic shapes and forms and adding layers of complexity to achieve a result that is near to the reality. On the other hand, we have T.B. Choi's book, where she talks about the hand in a more simplified way comparing to Michael Hampton. So I use TB's book as a way to achieve a balance between complex and simplified. The first thing to consider is the length or the size of our hand. Half of the size of the hands is for the fingers, and the other half is subdivided in two. You can see that the first division have 2/3 and the other 1/3. An important thing to take in consideration when it comes to draw the hand, specifically in the fingers area, is that if we start looking to the hand on a skeleton way, we will realize that we have a proportional scale of 3/2 in the fingers. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that the finger is divided in 3 sections. Each section has its own length, where the first section in orange can be divided in 3/3, and if we take 2/3 of the 3, we will have the length of the next section, and we can apply the same logic to have the size of the last section. But when it comes to drawing, we are not always thinking on a skeleton way. We try to simplify the process. Based on that, we have here a simplified version of half of the hand and the structure where the thumb is attached. And we also have animation showing how this behaves on a 3-dimensional space. Like I already said on the previous videos, we are here to know how to draw a thing in different angles, in different perspectives. Knowing how to draw a thing on a specific angle will not help us when it comes to try new things. So knowing how to do this in different angles, trying to experiment different perspectives, different positions, will help you as an artist to be able to adapt to any scenario. We also have the other side of the hand. I'm talking about the palm. We have a simplified version where we can see the groups of muscles represented with ellipses on the palm. But for this video, the simplified version will be our main focus. Here we have another animation where we have our hand on a moving situation. We can see the movement of the fingers and the hand rotating. I did this to show to you that if you already know the theoretical part, you are able to draw the hand in any situation that you imagine. Here we have our hand with the fingers in movement, and we also have a rotation to show how our hand behaves on a 3-dimensional space. Talking about the thumb, we can use a triangle to know how the thumb moves on a 3-dimensional space. You can see in the animation that when the thumb moves, the size and shape of the triangle adapt to the movement. You can see this phenomenon on the top view and also on the bottom view, where will be more pronounced because we are seeing muscle groups interacting with each other to move the thumb. Previously, we was talking about the skeleton version of the finger. Now it's time to go to a more simplified version. We'll use cylinders to simplify the fingers. I also drew the palm just for scaling purposes. You can see that we have 3 joints represented in cylinders, and the sections of the finger that we was talking about previously, the 3x2 relationship, are represented with cylinders, but normally I draw the sections as cubes or rectangles in perspective. You can see these on the background animation. To turn this more complete, we need the practical part. We have few examples showing how I draw the hands using that knowledge that we talked about previously. One of the first things that I do when I'm drawing the hand is trying to understand the overall gesture, beginning with the connection to the arm, the palm, and the fingers. When I have this structure, the base structure established, I start to add volume to put my drawing on a 3-dimensional space. You can see that I used cubes to add volume to the fingers. After that, I started to turn these in a more organic shapes to achieve my final result. For the second example, we'll use a different approach. Rather than trying to know how each part behaves, I created groups. I grouped the palm, the thumb, and the connection to the arm. I grouped 2 fingers, and on the end I drew the fingers that was left in, showing that we can do this in different ways but respecting the logic. For the third example, we have a different approach where I was trying to draw a realistic hand, where to be real, I was trying to exaggerate. As you can see, I started with the gesture, I drew the connection to the arm, I drew the palm region, and I made the gesture for the frontal fingers and also the thumb. After that, I started to give volume to the fingers and I finished the other stuff, turning the drawing more organic. We have a different example where my goal was to draw a hand holding a book. This again was a more realistic approach. I used the same logic to the previous drawing or example. I started with the gesture for the arm connection, the palm region, the fingers. After that, I added volume, and on the final step was just turning this in a more organic. And I also added a book. We have the last example where I was trying to do the things in a more blocky way. I used cubes for this. I drew a cube for the arm connection, a cube for the palm, and I added the structure of the fingers. You can see that the logic remains the same regardless the example that I showed here to you. You can adapt this to your own style. If you want to draw a cartoon, an anime, a hyper realistic, you can do anything based on this. So we are on the end of the video. If I helped you, consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, also enable the bell to be updated of new videos. Share the channel with friends that also draws. And if you play Fortnite, Rocket League, or any game on the Epic Games Store, consider using my creator code tag NAS23. Thank you. Until the next one. Bye bye.